Junior, and we are here with another episode. We're in the pump locker. You got me.
I'm doing good, brother. Hopefully this weather keeps warming up over here. But how you doing?
Doing good. Michigan is a little bit. We're on this beautiful Tuesday post-Arnold Classic. We got another
Yeah.
banger in the wraps, close between Andrew and Nick. And it seems like the Arnold Classic is back. Seems like
Yeah, man. For everything I've seen, I've kind of gone to the Arnold like every other year since 2018. I went 2018, 2019, took off 20 and 21, then I went 22 and 24. Anywho, yeah, man, it from the bodybuilding side, it was very electric. It was definitely very good competition. Competition wise, it seemed like it was the tightest since probably the Arnold when Nick won his first one and went on to get third at the Olympia that year, I believe. It might have been 22, but I'm pretty sure it was 21. And no, I think that had to be 22 because he got his pro card during the pandemic in 2020. So I think that was 22. And I don't know if you follow or saw Walt Whitman's post about that the expo was bumping and crowded, but he was shocked that from his perspective for the first time, he saw that influencers had way longer lines than any of the bodybuilders there. And that's not like, if you're even halfway paying attention to the industry and how it's shifted, that doesn't surprise you, but it's still shocking to people who've been going to shows and expos for, 8, 10, 12 years, who remember like Jay and Ronnie and Branch Warren or even a Derek Lunsford having
right,
30,
right.
40, 50, if not 100 or 200 people waiting in their line.
Yeah, man. It's turned, and
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the cool thing about fitness is we to see these people in person and actually meet them. It's like I'm never going to meet Mike Trout, Otani, but I can meet some of the top bodybuilding, even at my local gyms.
Yeah.
That's that's a maybe a no names, no names, but
Yeah.
we got a banger lined up. We got the placings somewhat right from last week. We got Andrew, Nick, Hottie, Martin, and then man, we were hyping up Curry so much doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We kind of, it's hard with Curry because it's like, he's toward, it's like you feel like the last 2, 3 years he's kind of been towards the tail end. He won the 2020 Olympia. And really, he stayed pat for about 2 to 3 years after that. And you kind of feel like he's fading and this and that. And then you see him on stage. I even saw some shots of him standing next to Martin, like front double bicep in a night show. And it's like, man, I might even had a now again. Bodybuilding is not just one pose. It's winning 4, 5, 6, 7 poses over somebody. But Brandon definitely looked. For me, it's always the legs. I feel like his upper body is always going to hold up, kind of like Dexter. But to me,
mhm.
for the older guys, it's always about the legs, and he's been able to keep his legs full while detailed. Even at it's not even an age thing. Just he's been in the game a long time.
Yeah, he's doing so good that it's honestly disrespectful to be like, oh, he's old because
Yeah,
to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so, but his glutes on those back, the way his hamstrings were dialed in, I was like, man, I like Chef Curry, like still I
yeah,
like about
yeah, for
Curry
sure.
is years and years me and him we messaged back and forth and kind of I think I met him maybe one time and then I saw years later and he was walking past me or I was walking past him however you want to say it and he's like, oh snap, what's up Lamar, how you doing, man? Like he kind of not that he like made a point to go out of his way out, we meet so many people, forget names,
Yeah,
every day is Groundhog Day for some of these guys meeting dozens of people. And so whenever he was just like said what up to me and he was doing, man, like some of these guys are genuine people. And that's what we get from and honestly is he's just a good dude. And so yeah, man, fucking salute to Brandon and shame on me.
yeah.
Uh
Shame on me too, man.
So, speaking of stuff, man, we got a lot of stuff going on. I figure we'd lay out for you guys a brief rundown on things, and then me, I'm gonna kind of go through the list as it is. Sergio's bicep tear, Ford's new business venture, and Sulek's debut. The rumor has it hiring or not. Emotional crash outs. I'm kind of posing the question of, do we really like and Nacito together? And the last thing we'll cover is who the real once weekend is or what. I think that's Nick Walker. So yeah, man, let's start from the top. Sergio made a post about his bicep tear. Apparently, man, injuries suck. Wasn't competing this weekend, but I honestly thought Sergio was done. I didn't know that he was still actively pursuing bodybuilding. If we're being honest, that was kind of, I was like, that sucks. That shocked me, and so
Well, kind of like we were talking off screen before the show, man. I personally don't have any, I don't not like Sergio. I just don't get how this dude has lived in Cali and Chicago and the United Emirates and Dubai and all these different places with all these different sponsors. I feel like he just runs in like good timing, meeting people. Maybe he's a very likable guy, but this guy has been full-time bodybuilding for a decade plus, and I feel like he's been living off like 1.5 wins and not winning the best poser in the 2022 Arnold, uh, when
right,
Nick won it over him, even though he did an amazing routine. But he's one of those guys that is able to stay relevant, and he does have a good social media following. But I feel sorry for him. Injuries really suck. Thankfully, I've never had any like major injuries that I've had to have surgery on or put me out for months or even weeks at any point. So I do wish him a speedy recovery. But I'm like you, I kind of thought he was out of the game, or because I guess just out of mind, out of sight. You haven't really seen or heard anything from him. Normally, you're getting a few updates to kind of churn up some hype. But I
right,
remember you mentioning that this was, he said in his post that this was the first time in a while that he's put together 12 of consistent bodybuilding, and kind of like we were saying, like, dude,
man,
you're a professional bodybuilder getting paid contracts. How are you not able to put
man,
12 weeks together year on year, but like at least twice in 1 year, let alone, you know, 1 year at a time in the last 4 or 5 years?
dude, it's crazy because people, some people losing their sponsorships this past weekend, and then you have people like him that have sponsorships, and it's like, man, if you gave me 5 grand a month, I would cut back 40%. I would focus on straight bodybuilding. I'd go buy a fucking cow. I'd buy all my beef for the year. I would do a Jay Cutler style, and I would lock the fucking. So it's crazy for guys like me and you that the rest of the competitor world, when someone's a full-time bodybuilder and you kind of see in in their life, like, hey, this is the first time and I've put a solid 12 weeks, like you don't even have kids. I got in. We both know a mom, two kids. She's not doing the Arnold, but you ask her when she missed a meal, and like, it's like, oh, when both my kid had a fever.
Yeah.
Like, again, you got to go harder than this, man. Like, we just have higher. We kind of understand that, like the son of Michael Jordan of bodybuilding, like the son of a great. So I do think that he's pressure him. Shit, I'm the son of a pro athlete. I can pressure directly, but it's so I feel like that's with him kind of, you kind of set with things, but you know, I've never had an injury. Don't wish that on one. That sucks. Just got to stay mobile, stay moving, and speedy recovery to him. And I think that the one some of these guys is we always want to go out like on a good streak. When it's your last bodybuilding show, I genuinely wish that get your last show in, that you go out on your terms. I think one of the worst thing with bodybuilding is because you have so much control, in parentheses. You have so much control, and like if you don't go out how you want, such a visual aching representation of like how things are. So gets his last good run in. Uh
Yeah, man, that's all I got on them.
yeah. So we got a new business venture. Derek Lunsford, he is a new partner in Pharma. Ooh wee.
I did not. I don't know if I bought Dragon Farmer in 8, 9, 10 years. I don't know that I will. Again, I don't have any personal issues against Derek Lunsford. I kind of, as a bodybuilder, I kind of go through waves of liking him, not liking him. Some of his interviews are some of his early interviews used to be kind of brutal to get through. Just him talking in circles and all that good stuff. But, he's been with one of the best in the game, Hani Rambaugh, for a few years now, and this isn't his first rodeo. So hopefully he's learned some good tricks of the trade and maybe seen a lot of stuff behind the scenes to hopefully this is good timing for him and hopefully he can leverage it into being something fruitful. Because I think that somebody who's like done it the best, he's probably the best at being a bodybuilder and doing business at the same time. And that's Jay Cutler having, the Cutler series supplements and still doing his thing and
Yep,
staying super
yep.
active on social media. You have other guys like Rich Gaspari and Labrada, but they were phenomenal bodybuilders for the time, but they never reached the pinnacle like Jay did from the Arnold and the Olympia side. But those dudes have been super successful multimillionaires in the business side. I think Jay's been the best combo of bodybuilder, ambassador, and businessman for the sport. And so if you're there, you don't quite have the charisma that like Jay does, but you hope you can gain a legacy like that from the business side as well as the bodybuilding.
Absolutely. And I have talked about this on some of my posts. Like I made kind of like a little mini sesh when I was talking about Sanding his revenue. We can see that Nick his revenue. Um, what I'm gonna say is we need to understand is that let's say you're Derek, and let's say every month for the math is simple, right? Let's say every month you got a sponsorship with Evogen, you got your coupon code, and let's say on top of your whatever athlete salary pay, you're getting 5,000 clicks a month, right? You're averaging with that $10 saving like $7 a order. Okay. So that, 7 times 5, that's 3,500 bucks. You're getting like an extra every month. And what you have to realize is people start, man, what if as opposed to me getting this small little $7 here and there, what if I can control the margins and I can get files and clicks making $12 a month as an item, $13 an item. Oh, someone I know that my new business partner, we can get these products for this price and we can really set the pricing at this and make X amount. And so happening with Derek is it's it's and that you have to be at the work. Oh, you just become because uh your value is way more than a coupon code. And so with Derek and all these people, you're only going to get so many thousands of dollars a month that a company is really willing to pay you a max amount, whether that's like a BSN that pays high, a Yamamoto pays high. But this is like bodybuilding sponsorships like in a small town. Everyone knows everyone. Someone's been with that person before, or if you're about to, if something's new, their company from some other people that started. So the the options and resources run out quick. And so, of course, being a business owner is hard, but fuck, man, do you want to sell coupon codes? Is that what you want to be worried about in prep? Then, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say, oh, Brian, you won nationals. You look great for our company, but you didn't post about us that much, man, when you were in prep, bro. You didn't put anything on your timeline. And we all know it like 8 weeks out, tired, your book. And so it's like it's like they shake your hand, but then like as soon as you try and get a raise, they're like, well, it's like that arbitration talk. So anyways, all
Yeah.
I'm getting at, guys, is like these guys, Derek and Nick, they're thinking about their future. They're thinking about a long-term payday and they don't want the value some fucking ticket to be representative of them of their value because day, you're gonna know some of these the perfect example, like, Frank McGrath in Animal forever in perpetuity in conjunction with Animal, even if he's no longer with Animal, that still has a value at we recognize, and so I feel companies fail to realize that, and so that's why guys are like, "All right, man, I'm gonna blow your shit up for 2 years. You're gonna get me because I didn't post coupon codes when I was 3 weeks, and so now here we are." So, I hope everything works out with him for that. I hope he gets those, it can long-term stability for him. But a Dragon Pharma, I just hope that he's not trying to turn.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Um,
I have similar sentiments on that, but it's his choice, so we'll see how it plays out. I just think of, other Olympian winners. Granted, it might have been bad timing because I know they did it around the pandemic, but I think like Brandon starting his team brand with Mark Lobliner and that kind of crash and burn. Phil, he started his gifted nutrition, I think 1 or 2 years before the pandemic, and that kind of crash and burn. So but Dragon Farmer is kind of like an already established brand, so maybe this will be, uh have something that will, be a little bit more stability for him.
yeah, and that's the only part is sometimes bodybuilders aren't yours, you know? Um, Sometimes it's because it's like this supplement term vision, you gotta have a long-term plan, and just putting 400 mgs of cat out isn't a long plan. It's just, and everyone copies everyone, so it's like you have to build your foundation of, like, health products, how a lot of brand that and not just their pre-workout, or their, intra-workout case may be. So that issue is some of these people, they're not genuinely in a long-term business. They want the business for themselves, and they think they can turn it's much easier to sell a t-shirt, sell pre-workout, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I feel that sometimes people confuse the 2
Mm.
or conflate the 2 that if you can that's not all.
Well, I think it's from a relatability standpoint, likability standpoint. Again, like, I mean, you listen to J Talk in 2000 and 2005 and 2010, 2015, 20. You listen to J Talk for the last 20, 25 years, the way he speaks, his cadence, he has a little bit of charisma, a little joke here and there. But Jake is an easily likable guy. He doesn't say crazy stuff. He wasn't cussing guys out, backstage. I mean, he was super competitive. And then you look at him versus again like a Phil Heath, whether he did it to himself or not. Maybe it was the the Generation Iron that did it. Phil took on like a villain role. Like, how many villains in sports do you know have great brands outside of the sports? I mean, outside of like LeBron James during his Miami years, everybody else is a hero and not a villain, in their personal narrative. Again, like I love Brandon Curry. I met him 2021 at Carbon Iron in Nashville when he was training there in the off season. But again, you when you watch the guys go to events or do interviews or podcasts or lack thereof, they're not holding a torch to the guys who have done good businesses. Like you watch Lee Priest or Gaspari or Arnold or Jay do these podcasts, the guys who are really having success. And it's like there's almost a night and day difference by their presentation and how they come off.
Oh, percent 100%. It's much more of a the guys pushed with the things they did. Today it's a little bit rugged individualism, which can be good or bad, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of well, not speaking of rug, but, I was thinking of his haircut, but Sam Sulek's debut this weekend, man. Ooh-wee. The influencer turn competitor turn made his pro debut the in the world. Oh, man, what are you
Man, it's again, when you just talk about bodybuilding at that level on that stage, I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice to we'll just say not present yourself as best as possible. Because the physique and him coaching himself is one thing, but I feel like, again, especially at Arnold's show, like posing and presentation should be something you probably take a little bit more seriously because I mean, it makes or breaks your physique, and those pictures and that media is on the internet for forever. And a lot of people say, well, all news, whether it's good or bad, is good news. And is it? Yeah, that's to a certain extent. But I just feel like somebody at technically speaking the level he's at should have had better presentation Again, aside from his physique, I thought his physique was fine. I didn't expect a whole lot out of him because I had all kind of clients and like some of my clients and friends from the gym that are in their early to mid 20s that are huge Sam Sulek fans. They're like, man, like it's crazy. Sam looks so huge on social media, YouTube, and then he gets on stage and he's not the same. Like what's happened? I'm like, dude, he has full control over editing, the angles, and all that stuff when he's posting his own stuff. But when you're on that stage and standing next to guys who are legitimately big and filling out their weight class, man, it's a night. It's like being in the big leagues versus playing JUCO baseball almost. So again, I don't have any personal qualms against Sam. He actually he actually finished a little bit better. I thought he was going to finish dead last,
Me
and
too.
maybe he didn't just because he was an influencer and got his pro card there. But that's kind of my feelings on the whole Sulek. I won't say saga, but a debut.
Yeah, man. I mean, for his debut, he had, but some of the muscle guys, even in six, like even just in seventh, I feel like some of their quad just way ahead. Um, so good debut. He looks fine, good condition. He impresses me for being self-coach and him being compete as, but if I'm this off season, I'm hiring a coach and trying to find some bodybuilding for some people in the gym, you know, he monologue kind of stuff. Not that he doesn't train his videos and stuff. Not a fan of his videos. Um, I've seen something a little different than that vlog monologue style. People say he's like the Bob Ross, like looking out, which I kind of see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But but he and this for is because like me and US competitors, finish line. We understand what's going on in March that's affect your placing in August, right? And so I feel like Sam needs to get people around him that understand that so he can get a off season, he can do some posing, challenge his perception on things. Um he was with Fuwa and the Bro Chat guys, and I'll be 100% honest, and I don't think that's his flavor of hang around all the time. Guys are a little bit older, and they have some good advice, but not everyone vibes with Fuad. Fuad's a good speaker. I like what he does for the sport. Detroit Pro this weekend. But I just don't think Sam was really rocking with that, and that's why he walked away from Hostile. I think we know that Hostile probably would have kept him around for a little bit longer if they had that choice, but it seems like Sam from that to his new squad. I know in bodybuilding it's hard, depending on and all that sort of stuff. But even if it's just your internet friends, maybe every once a month, you take a weekend to go see some guys that are a few hours away. Bro, you got the money, get a plane ticket, go make a point, train with some people that like really want to train, like not just to trend twins who want to like go viral in a sense, like that kind of stuff. Like from fucking unified bodybuilders, get you a coach, take the year off, and let's see how you really size up things in 18 to 20 months with some. So good debut. Cut was awful. Looked like a fucking fork in the socket. uh, but so have a little bit better presentation, and also that's kind
Yeah.
of where having some people around you, because bro, if you're about to walk on stage and your beard's looking scruffy and this night before, I'm like, man, dog, are you going on stage like that, homie? You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm with you on like the mentorship aspect of it because for one, I don't know what his options will be because, like you said, he was with the Bro Chat crew, and personally, I'm the type of guy. Even if I know these dudes aren't my cup of tea, like, and I'm probably not gonna go get a drink with these dudes. I'm not gonna have a smoke session with these dudes. But it's like these dudes have been where I'm trying to get. They've won pro shows, they've done the tours, they've done all the more traditional bodybuilding stuff, and they've been with different coaches, have great perspectives. It's like I'm the type of person, even if these dudes aren't my cup of tea, I'm trying to milk them for all I can for the knowledge purposes. Because again, we don't have to be friends, but again, you can have a great relationship, but you can learn so much from guys like that crew, even if they're not your jazz. But it's like, okay, if that's not your thing, then do like Urge does. Urge kind of does the influencer thing a little bit, but you see him training with Steve Bum and Wesley and other kind of bodybuilders, and he's all. You feel like when Urz is like on the map, he's kind of like all over the place in different countries doing, and he's still locked in and makes great appearances every time. So it's like maybe you need to take the Urz approach, or maybe it's just like, dude, you're a big enough star. If you probably sat down and negotiated some standards, you probably could have access to Chris Bumstead. It's like, dude, go pay Chris Bumstead 3 Gs for his time or whatever, and go learn from him for a week about,
Right,
being a
right.
bodybuilder and the presentation and the business and all that. Because again, like I've watched enough of his YouTube videos to know, what he's about and all that. I personally don't like his style of training. That's neither here nor there, but he if he wants to continue in bodybuilding and he's going to take it serious, before people start turning on him for being a bad bodybuilder, he should go seek real mentorship in the sport.
Agreed, agreed. And last thing I want to add that is over my competitive career, there's been times where you've seen me, man, like week I'm in Colorado, one week I'm in Cali, then I'm in Florida, and you see me kind of jump around like that. But man, like whenever you don't have to and you're in that vacation mode, like man, when I come back from those trips in Colorado, I'm feeling and looking great, and I'm feeling so recharged to go after and get it in the gym and take the new tweaks that I've learned. And so it's like, dude, you can't tell me me being in Michigan, I know some people are going to disagree with this, but if I got a chance when I out to Cali and I was at Larry Wills's gym and we were there for like a week because it was my sister's graduation. I know some don't like California, that's why I said that. But man, I wasn't really focused on training, but just that week out there was just so uplifting from training new machines, new plates, different angles, different different crew, And so if you can just sprinkle a little bit of that in your mix, there was so many good fins, healthy places that were already prepping meals, a shake place next to the gym that was good. And so it was just a fun time, hard. Like I feel like every day I was out there, I trained for 9 minutes, like, I maxed out my
Yeah,
training all the time. So it's just don't downplay the advantages you can have getting out. I know some of us really like to be home bodies and bodybuilder, but man, if you know, go to Texas week, man. If you can afford it, if you can do it, if you don't got 17 dogs and 3 kids, and get out the house and go, somewhere different. So, uh,
agreed, agreed.
that's a year's approach. So, is it so much of a rumor uh Hottie retirement and you know he's come out that he's not retired. God damn. Hottie had us Hottie had his pins and needles on Saturday night, man. That dude was sharp as shoe on, and we said if do it, it'd be Hottie. At third place, man, he's he's the man. Hottie's the man in my opinion. How you feeling?
I did think he missed the boat just a little bit on Friday, and that probably cost him.
Yeah.
I think that was reflective in the scorecard. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think that was reflective in the scorecard, which is the scorecard. We could probably go on for 10 minutes on but on a subject by itself. But man, Hottie, he definitely brought it Saturday, and you're right. He is the man. He doesn't miss the mark often, and I was like kind of shocked that he'd be not that he'd be considering retiring, but there even be that strong of a rumor out there, put it out there, because you still feel like he still has a fighter's chance to win an Olympia, and he could go out. Not that he does it, but he can go out and win any of these big shows at any given time for still probably another year or two. Just the way he stayed locked in, and he's all about bodybuilding and all that good stuff, and he's able to focus over in his home country. He brought it, and phenomenal appearance by him, and hopefully he isn't leaving us yet in the sport. Hopefully he just got a lot of going on still, mentally, emotionally with his family, politically, whatever. And hopefully he's able to like maybe take a month or two off, kind of reset, get off social media, and then make a push for the Olympia this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, Friday night, so when I saw him Friday and he first came out, I was like, "Man, his legs look a little undersized. He looks sharp, but he's just not quite there." But really, he was just flat. I believe at that point, he just really didn't really get the push from the carbs and everything just yet. But that's the beauty of a 2-day show, man. So as long as you're not spilling over on Friday, 99 you will wake up better on a 2-day show as you don't spill the night before. That includes eating your
Yeah.
so, once I saw him Saturday, I said, "Oh, man." I said, "These are lucky that he kinda slipped a little bit out there, but he definitely, like, had a good package." His diet are a little size, just a tad. His backside is definitely, was, but it's still pretty good. That rear double bi shot of Hottie next to Nick, I think is just a awesome. Like, this is bodybuilding with all that, and they've all got their kinda, favorable attributes just showcased in that shot. Hottie is no slouch. He's still top 4, top 3, top 5. Um, twice because Hottie is not slipping away. That's like a year um, but, oh, man, salute to Hottie. Like we said, if anyone it would be him. He showed up despite all the stuff, having a coach, not having a sponsor, this Persian Wolf thing, and, congrats to him, man. He's just gonna keep on trucking. Uh, we got it's kinda been beating a dead horse. Martin had his crash out. I kinda called it. I said this weekend will be very indicative for Mar status and how he feels at the prep. He's made it very clear how and how things went. His sponsors made it very clear he feel a certain way that he feels a certain about this
Yeah.
prep. So yeah, man. What and any thoughts on it, Brian?
I think that one thing that gets lost in this is people maybe lose sight that bodybuilding is more of a pageantry event than an actual sport. But it doesn't matter. When you're on the second biggest stage in the world, everything you're going to do is going to be magnified. And I just think about, people call LeBron James the GOAT, whether he's the GOAT or not. That's not for debate on this show. But people still bring up, this is decade later, more than a decade later, people still bring up when the Celtics beat LeBron in his last year in Cleveland the first time, that he didn't shake their hands. He walked off the court, took off his
Yep.
jersey, and they called it poor sportsmanship. And that's and that's LeBron James, all time great. This and that and the other. There's just and there's pageantry in sports. Now, do I think he deserves the hundreds, if not probably thousands, of DMs and messages that he's getting that he's a crash out and a bum or whatever people are saying, to probably even worse, I'm sure. As well as, like, I saw Brett Wilkin post that, getting hundreds of messages saying, how can you stand by a guy like this? And, you're probably the same guy if you're sticking up for a guy like this. And it's like, not quite. I've had buddies that are terrible dudes,
Right.
and I still stick by them to a certain point, a certain extent. So, there's always going to be consequences for your actions. I lived that in my own personal life, and it's just that my personal life is not on display for the world to see. But you have to be cognizant that when you step on that stage, everything's going to be magnified. And if you're not able to hold your composure, people are going to. Had he done this at the Puerto Rico Pro or the Orlando Pro or the Indy Pro, it would have been a deal, but it wouldn't have been as big of a deal as doing it at the Arnold or at the Olympia. So that's just kind of my take on it. I saw Raw make like a formal statement on it yesterday, and for whatever people think about Raw, it was a good formal statement, because it's hard as a company to stand behind the turmoil that an athlete that Martin is going through right now. When this is not his first or second or even third incident, this is probably closer to like seventh, eighth, or ninth. But that's all I have to say on Martin.
Yeah, man. What I'll say is not even him. I think that in world, I think they love athlete humiliation for some for because again, kind of being earlier, like you have so much control. It's your body, but we all know that if it don't go right, you kind of have this mental breakdown, and it doesn't always equate the energy you put in there. So, and people just love spectating, even if they don't like you. These people will watch your story, and then the second you slip up, this guy's like, "Ha, fucking loser," and then you look up, and it's like the same dude who like flaming your photo for like 6 months, and I'm like, I think we've all had, and so I think real fitness is they like seeing a dude crash out, unfortunately. And so some of the people now that are like so happy with this, it's like, man, like, you know,
Yeah.
I think is sometimes whenever we go, oh shit, you're gonna lose your sponsor, people go, "Oh, you want Martin to lose his sponsors." We're like, "No, I'm not saying we want, but we're just saying like this looks really, really bad, and I think he's gonna lose his sponsor." But that gets mixed in with the people who are like, "I hope sponsor," So fortunately, Martin will just have to sell T-shirts like the rest of them. He can pave his own way. Uh, it's ultimately at this. What I will say is, I remember years ago, I crash out myself. I was on some trend. I was way too many anti-estrogens. I like doubled up the dose. I was like taking I can't milligram, but I was doing like 2 capsules a day, and then I was doing that like 4 or 5 days a week, and I felt fucking awful, and some random shit happened, got in a fight with the girl I was dating that time because I was just, like, making no sense, and then I go to talk to Sephirosi, and I tell him what I'm taking and what I'm doing, and the first fucking thing he says is, "Bro, how are you feeling mentally right now?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I feel fucking crazy, and dude, you were on way too many anti-estrogens and mixed with that fucking trend. Like, let's back up things, let's correct some stuff." So, I'm not giving anyone an excuse, but as bodybuilders, whenever they say this one mental, he literally might have some things that are mentally mixing right now, and it's just a fucking trigger. And I think we've all been there. Not all of it happens on a pro stage or for the world to see. So, let dude crash out. Bodybuilding's forgiving. You can literally post fucking anything, and these people are gonna be like, "You keep it real. I like you." I don't
Yeah.
I don't agree with that train of thought. No, we know what happens. Mm. So yeah, Martin, you know, so luck to you, bro. You're gonna still be on the circuit. All you gotta do is put your name on a t-shirt, and you'll be all right, my man. We gotta smoke some weed, we got drums, we gotta get some therapy, your boy the green doctor. We'll get you all off.
I was just gonna say in this sport and in any sport, if you have an opportunity to win again, people forget stuff pretty quickly. So Martin just, like you said, take a little time off, not even from bodybuilding, but probably just from social media, and just gets his head straight. And he come. It doesn't matter. He could go win the Helsinki Pro at the end of the year. People will be right back in his corner, right back calling him a contender and this, that, and the other. Just like all the crazy football players who murdered people and drunk drive, like all those dudes get right back in the sport. And when they win and make a Pro Bowl or get back to the Super Bowl, people forget about that stuff as quickly as it happened. Martin's prerogative for the next however long, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, it should be. And I got to do whatever I can to win. And doesn't matter what it is or what level it is. And I'll be right back on track.
The last point I'll say is if Sergio can keep getting sponsorships, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
If Sergio can, you can, bro. This sport's forgiving as long as you make the mess. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, maybe the last two topics here. Jack was the winner. He looked good, not his best ever, even though some will say ever. I don't look at some photos, but he won. I didn't think he was going to be the winner, if we're being honest. He looked a little on Friday night and then Saturday. Again, these 2-day shows kind of give you the ability to kind of sneak some food push down. So my question is, what are your thoughts on it? And do you
So I kind of look at this like the legendary head coaching dilemma you run into, like Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh. It's like Bill Belichick. It's like Okay, this dude's won a Super Bowl, and Andrew Jack hasn't won an Olympia yet, but he did just win Arnold and won more money than anybody's ever won in a particular show. So it's like, obviously they have a winning formula, but you have to ask yourself, do you keep learning? Do you keep letting Aceto learn his body to keep him on a winning trajectory? And if not, then what is the next best option for Andrew Jack to bring his best package to the stage? 'Cause if you don't have an obvious answer, and if he doesn't have an obvious answer, then you kind of stick to your guns. Or maybe you say, man, you only get one shot at this thing, one shot at your career. I got to go take a big leap. Let me interview 5 or 7 coaches who I think I'd like, and make the jump there. And it may push me over the top for Olympia, or it may make me take a step or two back. But I'm with you on the Friday night and Saturday appearance. But as far as coaching, I really don't have an opinion on it, because my notion would say let Aceto continue to learn his body. But I'm also a risk taker. So it's like, Andrew Jack's kind of an anomaly, because he kind of feels like he's his own thing. And like I just seen he was training at MI40 gym for this prep for, I don't know, the last month or 5 weeks, I feel like. So he's another guy that's just kind of like just kind of a nomad, willing to try things, do things, and be in different places. It's very flexible. He's never just a homebody. So that would be my approach to the whole Andrew Jack, Chris Aceto dilemma.
Yeah, man, it's good. And so my thing is, aceto can be a little interesting on his diuretic use sometimes. He's had a history. I don't know if he's still having protocol, but uh talking to the DMs with a couple of my friends, we've all been amount of time, and aceto's not really like an off-season guy. He's
No.
kind of the guy you hire at about 14 weeks out. He called off the technician because within that time frame, he's good with, like, manipulating these small factors and, tweaking these things within that realm, and so that's where he gets the technician from, because he is, like, probing for the machine as opposed to trying to bring in all these new parts. But I can't think of a guy that worked with a seal that after 16 weeks in the off season, dude's like pushing, dude's like popping. Like when I think back in the day when some of these guys used to work with like Hottie and George Farah, current day like Dominique Cardone, he's one of my favorites where his guys fucking eat. His guys, whatever Dom is doing with his guys, they're like transforming. And I know he's kind of tonifying some stresses down, and then he's also like improving these other factors. So you're kind of getting this like whole uh but I haven't seen that with, and that's what Andrew
Yeah.
needs. He needs like an off season that's gonna put him like Samson right now. Like that's why I don't really care if Samson doesn't have a coach right now, because whatever he's doing, that fucker is mass. It's working, it's growing. If it's because fucking Merkel is getting him Cambodian breast milk. That's a joke from a TV show.
Yeah.
But so that's my thing is I want to see Andrew with a coach. They're gonna make him pop and grow and be full on stage. Like 1 year he's not. 1 year he's water, 1 year he's
Yeah.
not. And so it's like I don't think Hottie would take him on, but he just needs a coach that really work with him, and like I don't think he does well. His legs always look very downsized when he does these extended shows, but he's so aesthetically good that he can get away with it. But man,
Yeah.
I kind of downsized this year is kind of the Olympia. I saw a comparison of the two photos, and technically, I guess he did improve. I'm not saying he didn't, but it's like Nick. Sometimes it's just that comp, that tightness in certain areas versus fullness in other areas. It's full ounces, and and so yeah, I think that's what Andrew needs. Him and Aceto are the best guy. He looks great in certain shots, but other shots, man, I'm like, bro, we're leaving the door open. I don't. I don't know if he's gonna slam this door at the end of the year at the Olympia when you're next to Sam, you're next to Nick, and you're next to Derek. So in the inches right here, it's like you get a 95 on a test. It's really hard to get a 98 because it's such a small air for improvement. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it
Yeah.
is with bodybuilding right now. Like Andrew, you got a 95. The problem is you have to score a fucking 100 to be the winner. You have to bullseye all these categories, and so that's what I want to see from Andrew. I don't know if Aceto's going to bring that necessarily. I think he needs something different, in my opinion. But the real winner in our opinion, ooh wee boy, I thought I thought he was crazy whenever he was saying he didn't like his looks last year. Now I'm gonna put the fucking sock in my mouth and say, like those looks last year.
Yeah.
Uh, I still think his Pittsburgh was really good, but second place, whatever, bro. You didn't blow a gap to OG. And as far as I'm concerned, that new partnership with Morphogen, that's 7th of the year right there. You feel me?
Yeah.
Nick might make the other way, so he's okay with second
Yeah.
place. Yeah, man. How you feeling?
Man, he definitely brought it. His waist was in for his standards. I saw a comparison picture of his waist now versus what Pittsburgh was last year, and you could definitely see his waist was tighter all the way around. I've seen a lot of people say this was probably his best look ever. It probably is for me as well.
I agree.
And I think for him, he self-coached. He's taking on his own coaching, and I saw, I think it was Phil Viz posted about Nick's self-coaching approach, and I do agree with Phil that Nick is probably, when it comes to, like, bodybuilding intelligence, he's smarter than he comes off, and he's been around a lot of knowledgeable people, and Nick is somebody who I feel like, versus we're talking like Sam Sulek, like, Nick is going to exhaust all opportunities and avenues and knowledge bases within what he probably respects to and different approaches to get the desired result and maximize that profit when it comes to, putting his best package on stage. Because whether you like Nick's physique or not, he has put some pretty legendary packages on stage, going back to his debut Arnold look, his third place Olympia look, winning his pro card and all that good stuff. Nick definitely brought the noise. A lot. I've seen it even up to last night. A lot of people think he got robbed, and again, we don't, what we see through streaming and pictures doesn't do justice to what the judges and the people in the first couple of rows are seeing in real time, especially because Samson's so dark. So Samson, well, not Samson, but Andrew Jack, but guys like Samson and Andrew Jack and Brandon Kerr, they're never going to come through the screen as clear and crisp
Right,
as like
right.
lighter skinned or fairy guys. So the whole Nick got robbed thing, I'm not quite there, but we'll see these two on, what, 6 months, 7 months from now on Olympia, and we'll see who can finish better, at that standpoint. Because you got to imagine, the Olympia is a 4-man race right now between Derek, Samson, Andrew, and Nick being able to stand next to Andrew and push him to the limits.
Yeah, yeah. To me, this was like walking in with a fucking warning shot. Like, he's like, "Hey guys, I didn't fucking win, but fucking knock, knock, knock. Like, if this door might be opening and your boy's gonna be busting through." You know, I think what I saw is I saw a couple of things going on. We have to remember that some of these cameras and the lenses and the because of Nick's complexion versus Andrew's, it kind of amplifies uh like whoever's it kind of makes them look more grainy under a
Mhm.
certain lens. And then you have someone like Andrew that's very dark, and so Andrew looks smooth, and so sometimes in these photos, you go, "Damn, Nick looks so hard, and Andrew looks so smooth." But if you're there in person, you kinda understand, like, "Oh, damn, like, Andrew's popping right now." And so that's something that they can't catch with these guys. I mean, we got boiled with Phil Heath as Mr. Olympia. Like, dude literally had the perfect complexion for bodybuilding and cameras because when the O-tan comes on and that light hits, it's like they called him Mr. Cartoon for a reason.
Yeah.
He looked under that, and so I think sometimes when we see someone like Nick, just gets a little bit that favorable camera look, but like in the upper back, I feel it was tighter and denser. Where in the lower bodies, Nick was denser and tighter.
Yeah.
Um, while Nick get that like Ron Coleman, Phil Heath shredded, Nick has a different. It's a
Yeah.
unique one. Um, it's not like carved out there because so lean. After um uh uh just overall just like his flow of things, as far as Andrew, just more aesthetic. I'm not sure if like the IFBB is set on Nick beating Andrew just yet, because it's kind of one of those things like once you play that card, then you're like, oh, Nick can beat Andrew. Not that it's like political, but I just don't think he's 100% there yet in the eyes of the IFBB. But Nick knows how to the patient card, you know?
Yeah.
And if Nick's smart, Nick's like, okay, Andrew's 41, 42, Hottie's about to retire. Uh Samson, he's got a couple years left. So it's like, in a couple years here, you're losing your three biggest competitors. Who's between next? Martin, you know? And so if Nick, I think Nick knows if he just fucking keeps his cool, doesn't blow his fucking head by storming off Hottie does, like Martin does, be golden because he's got this new ownership thing with more food for them. Uh and then he's got his gyms opening up. Couple
Yeah.
years, he's gonna have, again, guys, if taking notes, you're gonna understand how all this works. Nick will be able to centralize so much shit in New Jersey, be making $1 million a month, mom's basement. You know what I'm saying? I'd be there right now too. You know what I'm saying? No, he's not in the basement. He poses in the basement. Don't worry, guys. I'm all the respect is, in my opinion, he's the real winner. He can coach himself. Uh, and so sometimes, let's say about when you said about his coaching, Nick Wilson, right? A lot of people don't realize he worked with like 5 different coaches internships over the
Yeah.
years. So what happened was is Jansen got to troubleshoot and figure out what methods worked the best. He applied those to Nick. I believe that Jansen got a little complacent in his methods and troubleshooting, and that's where Nick got frustrated because it wasn't just a simple formula anymore. It was something that was acquiring more detail as Nick's body got more. And I think Nick is picking up on these things, and that's why he got dissatisfied with Matt, and then he went with, like, Dom Super
Yeah.
Slice, and probably saw some of these other coaches were using some inferior methods that he know his body doesn't respond to. So that's why he was able to make that decision after he goes, "Hey, man, if this is gonna be your approach, I know this." And so now he's just like, "Fuck it. I work with Jason, I work with this guy, I work with this guy, specialists, they're all very in tune, but Nick just knows he needs to hit like these 3 or 4 pillars for training and nutrition and supplementation. He kinda understands the parameters for his body, and he's like, "Yo, I pay someone 400 a month to tell me this, like, I know myself now." And, it's kinda like with Sergio, we're like, "Bro, how should you do this by now?" Nick's fucking doing it now. It's just doing all that. Everything he's incorporate he's able to actively showcase it. Don't ask him to coach you. The result vary. But, as far as himself ready, oh, man, this is,
Yeah, for sure.
so so yeah, man, those are kind of our thoughts on the weekend here, man. Is there anything else you wanna.
No, man, I think that's good. We've been on a little bit over an hour, and I think we covered all the bases that we wanted to. Didn't ramble on too long about anything. I don't have any more thoughts, and I think you've done a great job covering your side of things as well.
Appreciate you, man. It's you as well. I'm glad we get to link up for for episode 2, I don't even think we have a name for this yet, but, uh,
No, we don't.
we're we're cooking. We're cooking on something. Don't
Yeah.
worry, guys. Just right now, Brian's in his log cabin house in Tennessee. Just kidding, it's not a log cabin because he's in Tennessee. But Br Brian's in the log cabin and I'm in the smoke box. So we don't know
Yeah.
what, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Do the bicep tear, Derek's Sam Sulek's debut, retirement or not retirement, Martin's crash out, Aceto right for Andrew, included with Nick Walker being the winner. So this make sure you subscribe.